Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the episode of Just Say Guay. I'm your host, George Guay. Today I'm joined by Matt Mikulski, who was a pitcher at Fordham University, had a really successful senior year and career at Fordham. Matt, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so how have you been, man? I mean, I think for both of us, but more so for you because you were an athlete, I think these were the last 13 longest months of our lives with COVID. How did you react to all of it? Your season got shut down. You didn't even know if you were going to have a regular school year, let alone a regular baseball year. How'd you handle all this?
Yeah, if we backtrack, it was right before our fifth series of the season. It was going to be against St. John's. So it was like a rivalry series. That's when everything started to get shut down, and then all of a sudden, school was out for. We had a spring break the next week, so school was out, but then the school ended up shutting everything down, shutting down our season. And then my reaction from that was, well, I'm just going to keep pitching like I still have a season going on and stuff like that. So got together with a couple of guys from around the area and stuff like that, and did some live ABs for a little bit leading up to the draft. And then when the draft came, it was definitely a new experience for me. And, things didn't go my way, and things happened, and ended up taking a little bit of a break for about 10-day break after the draft last year. And then I came back, went back to the drawing board. And one of the adjustments that was made during this COVID summer was shortening up my arm action, getting ready to throw harder more consistently and try and separate myself from everybody else in the country. And did that for most of the summer. And then actually to finish the summer, I played in this Dunkin' Donuts Rivalry Classic, where it's a bunch of area scouts get the best competition in the Northeast to play each other up in Hartford, Connecticut. And one team's the Yankees, one team's the Red Sox. I was on the Red Sox, but went there, finished my summer like that, and then went down in the fall. And the fall was honestly probably one of the most normal falls that we had. Like, we had to be cautious and stuff like that, but we didn't really get shut down or anything like that in the fall. And then winter break came, worked out all winter break, got ready for the season. And once the season came around, actually the first 2 weeks of our season were shut down because the school ended up shutting down due to the high amounts of cases. So we actually missed the first 2 weekends. I honestly forgot who we were supposed to play. I forgot it was on our schedule, but we missed the first 2 weekends, and then we finally got back to it. And we had the season, and it was just great getting back out there and playing with my brothers, and it's tough to say that my Fordham career is over, but at the same time, I wouldn't take back any second of it, any moment of it. I appreciate everything that my teammates and my coaches have done for me, and without them, I would not be in the position that I'm in right now. So that's pretty much it. That's the whole rundown of what happened with COVID and what I was trying to do. And I think I worked hard, and I got that product out onto the field finally. It was just like itching to get back out there. And it was a good time.
Yeah, I think that's great that you have no regrets, and you can look back on it and be very proud. And I think it's admirable that during COVID, a lot of great athletes, they found a way to get better, even when they could have just made excuses. And so I think that's really great. So let's backtrack before you got to Fordham. What made you choose the school? So I toured it. I didn't get into the school, but I applied. Unbelievable campus. You're right. You're knocking on the door of New York City. So what made you want to go to Fordham for baseball?
So my thing was, I was pretty undersized in high school. I didn't really get big ACC, SEC offers and stuff like that. So when schools came calling, it was mostly local schools like Stony Brook, St. John's, Fordham. And really my biggest thing was I want to go somewhere where I'm going to play and pitch right away. And if you look at some of these other rosters and stuff like that, they have 6, 7 lefties. And when I looked at Fordham, they had one lefty, So that was like a light bulb going off in my head, one. And two, out of the schools that I had, it's the best academic school as well. So it just felt like the perfect fit. I really liked what the coaches were building there. And the recruiting class before me was very strong. And then obviously my recruiting class was probably the strongest. And my sophomore year, we ended up taking home a A10 title and making it to a regional and stuff like that. And, I don't regret that decision one bit, and everybody might say, oh, there's different powerhouses in New York and stuff like that. But, we went out there and beat those powerhouses. So it's, I don't regret my decision one bit. And it's, I'm proud to be a Fordham alumni as well. So.
Yeah, it is an unbelievable school, top to bottom, academics, athletics. I only saw on tour the basketball facility. And what I saw there, I assumed, given how well they fund one team, they got to fund a lot of great teams also at school. So what were your facilities like for baseball? Because, campus is beautiful, facilities are beautiful, but what were they like for you?
So for baseball, honestly, we had to share the field because our field is a multi-purpose field. So you share it with men's and women's soccer, and then the football team as well. So in the fall, it's a little tricky to get on the field and stuff like that. Everybody shares the same weight room. Weight room's a great weight room. They're expanding it and making it bigger. Of course, right when I leave, but I like to think like my sacrifices or our sacrifices as a team or even as like an athletic program helped to get this new weight room and all that stuff. And our locker room was good. So the fall we'd have a fall locker room, and then the spring we'd have a different locker room. The fall locker room was all right, but once again, it's going to get a lot better. They're funding, they're starting to get new locker rooms and stuff like that. And I'm just excited to kind of go back in a couple of years and see what it all looks like and see what the finished product looks like, and it's not a big school like where, let's say, an SEC school where they have money coming everywhere and they're funding every single program. It's a mid-major program. It's a mid-major school. And, there's some things where maybe it's a little lacking, and then there's other things where it's really good as well. So.
Yeah. So obviously one of the things to make, like you said, things expand and get bigger, like you said, the weight room, teams have to win. And like you said, your team did that. And to me in college, is the teams that get remembered are the ones that win conference championships or make appearances in the tournament. You were on one of those teams, and you're going to go down in Fordham baseball history as one of those teams that left an imprint on the school and made it better for teams in the future. So what was it like to win that Atlantic 10 championship?
It's I get goosebumps thinking about it. That was the first A10 championship that Fordham Baseball, which is a historic program, had won in 21 years, and before I was even born. It was just the way we won it as well. Went 4-0 at home, and just memories like that. You're never going to forget those kids, those guys on that team. I'm always in contact with them and stuff like that. And I was honored enough and lucky enough to etch my name in the history book at Fordham for Fordham Baseball a couple of times in my career, and starting in the first championship game in 21 years, that was number one. And then obviously all the accolades that I had this year as well. And it's just it's an honor, and it's great that I'm excited to just go back like in a couple of years to celebrate that team, because that team was so special. And we got, we were a very mediocre team in the middle of the year, and we caught fire, and when you're in a situation like that and everything's clicking, and it's like watching magic almost, especially in the tournament when we were at home. Richmond, we were down 6-1, came all the way back, walked off on them in the first game of the tournament. Then we beat the 1 seed VCU the next game 2-1, and then we beat Dayton twice to win it all. And then after that, obviously going to the first regional in 21 years, and we went to West Virginia, who was also having a historic season that season as well. It was like their first regional that they were hosting since like 1939 or something like that. And you know, experiences like that where you got a packed out regional crowd, just gets your blood going. And it's just like thinking back at that start, or even that relief appearance, is just like surreal, and I wouldn't trade it for anything else.
Yeah, for sure. And I think you can answer to this question very well. But when you go on a run like that, and the school knows you guys are really playing well, you not only get the school behind you, but you get the alumni as well. Did you feel that during the run? Going to the tournament for baseball on the national level?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when we're leaving campus to go to West Virginia, we got a nice little party. They're like guys, and whether you're a regular student or an athlete, waving us on, rooting us on. And even the alumni that came and talked to us, and some alumni that were part of that 1998 team who won it, they are just telling us like how important it is to represent that Fordham across your chest. And it's not only that you're representing yourself and your family, but you're representing something bigger. You're representing Fordham Baseball. It's a historic program. It's been around since the 1800s. So it's you're representing a lot when you go out there and you play. And it kind of gave us that chip on our shoulder. Sadly we didn't go out there and win any, but we had West Virginia. We had them right where we want them, and a couple mistakes here and there. It's baseball.
Yeah, I think what's going to be great is one day you're going to be on the alumni side and being very proud of one of the Fordham teams that goes on a run as well, and you're going to be that person giving them advice on how to represent the school in a great way. So one thing I want to ask about this season specifically, you were a guy that had been around the program for a while, and there are people coming into the program as freshmen, but mostly you guys as upperclassmen are trying to show the freshmen how to navigate through college. But how are you trying to show them how to do it through a pandemic when in reality you're trying to figure it out yourself?
Yeah, that was definitely a tough adjustment. You're not really seeing a big thing about that team that won it all was the chemistry. It was 35 brothers. Everybody knew how to cheer each other up, and everybody knew how to rag on each other at the same time. So the chemistry was so tight knit. And with this year, it was a little bit tougher, but I mean, we ended up starting to get that chemistry towards the end of the year and stuff like that. And I think like with the good teams, these teams that you see in the College World Series or even in the Super Regionals, like, yeah, they're a good team. They're good at baseball, but the one thing that you might not see in behind the scenes is how well of friends they are, and like that team who won it all, and even the team that I was on this year, there's guys that I am always, the phone is always open when they text me or call me, and it's the same way the other way. It's you make brothers for life, for sure.
Yeah, I think that's great. Every person needs a guy like that in the team. And even when, you're not at Fordham the next season, you're going to have guys that reach out to you and you're going to be there. And I think that's awesome. So what was it like, this season you set some historic marks for yourself. You were named to an All-American team, and you set the single strikeout record for career and in a single season, as I just said. With all your hard work that you mentioned in the summer, did you think that would happen during a pandemic season with a lot of uncertainty?
I kind of get this question a lot, believe it or not. My one goal going into the season, a lot of people had me as preseason A-10 pitcher of the year. And, I wanted to prove those people right, and that was my one goal. I wanted to win A-10 pitcher of the year. I wanted to go out there and dominate. And those accolades, those historical accolades just kind of came on the way to that goal, and I didn't really know about those accolades until like the weekend before, after the LaSalle start. And going into Bonaventures, the magic number was 5. Going out there and trying to get 5. And I mean, the first time against Bonaventures, I had 16, but the magic number was 5 against them. And I went out there. I think I'm not even sure what I ended with the second game, but we went out there, got the 5, and it's just it's pretty crazy, because one of the guys who's holding those records is not even alive anymore, and played in the 1930s. So it's just an absolute honor, to etch my name in the Fordham Baseball history book.
Well, you should be very proud. So my last question is, for someone like yourself, how do you think this will help future recruits, and how do you think you'll help out, if there's ever people who want to talk to you about Fordham and going there, because you can get a world-class education. You can succeed on the baseball field individually like yourself. But hey, you can also go to a school and play baseball where you can go on a conference championship run at the same time. And, someone like yourself really did it all. And how do you think that will help, convincing future baseball players to come to Fordham?
Yeah, I think the one thing that I always remember when I was a freshman was like building the culture, and I think leaving that mark, leaving that legacy at Fordham, and building that culture, and now a lot of pitchers across the country, or even pitchers on the East Coast, hey, Fordham's a pitching school, even if you look at the guys and before me who have gotten drafted and have gone to the next level and stuff like that. And, it feels good to leave a mark like that. Obviously this season didn't go the way we wanted it to go, but at the same time, we got plenty of guys that are coming back for next year and are ready to keep creating that culture and keep promoting and having high school guys wanting to come to Fordham to be top-notch pitchers.
Well, they have a lot of reasons to go there. Matt, you really left a mark on the school and changed the culture for sure. And the program's in good hands. So I really appreciate you coming on my sports show, and we'll stay in touch, man.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.